Okay. So welcome everyone. We've already established a quorum and we are in open session, so we're going to begin our meeting. At this point, I would like to have a motion for the approval of the agenda, please. So moved. All in favor? Could I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda items? So moved. All in favor? Thank you. Communications.
We have not received any Board of Education correspondence this month.
John, do you have any?
No, there were no requests for comment.
Okay. Okay, next up we have our financial update. Come on down, Andrew.
Hi, everybody. Quick financial report update. Contracts for probationary and tenured teachers and staff have been distributed. We will be distributing extra duty contracts and letters of intent for our non-certified employees later this month. We are preparing for employee and benefit open enrollment for the district. Open enrollment begins on April 23rd and ends on April 29th. There are no planned changes. Dental and vision insurance will now be provided by MetLife Insurance. And then we are continuing to develop the 24-25 budget by estimating our revenues and identifying current and new expenditures. And we plan on having that preliminary budget for the board at the regular May meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next up we have our maintenance update.
So just a few things working on or have been working on. About 400, just kind of some recently completed items, about 400 work orders have been completed throughout the year so far, making good progress. Painted the hallways at the middle school along with the door frame to put down new coats, so that has been recently completed there, so it looks really nice. Quite a few kitchen equipment updates throughout the year, dishwasher, garbage disposal, things like that have been nice. And following the recent lead testing, we did replace several faucets to remedy some of the issues that were found there, so that's been done as well. Currently working on some lighting updates, specifically some wall packs and entry lighting on the exterior of the buildings. Working on a long-term maintenance plan that you guys will get once it's completed, just to include some of the preventative maintenance items and have a look ahead all the time. Working on, Mike's working on summer maintenance schedules for the maintenance and the custodial staff. Has identified a couple of big things for the summer so far. We're going to be switching OUV parking light to LED is the plan out there, and some items in the concession stand. So also working on asphalt repairs and some roof work at Macquarie, and a couple upcoming items. Working on to get the Child Care Center playground installed. We have some new items for over there. And then KC Pier is scheduled up for central office. They're scheduled up for the week of Memorial Day. So a lot going on.
Okay. Any questions for Roger? All right, thank you. Okay, next up we have our academic focus.
Yes, thank you guys for having us. OHS is, we're going to talk about the our facts department in the CTE world. So Anne's going to have some students talk about it and what they're doing and what they're hoping to do.
I'm going to go first, though. All right, so I've got a few pages here, and I'm going to pass it around. It's just, I'll explain this, but as long as you guys will have one. So my name is Ann Skelton. I'm the facts teacher at Odessa High School, and with me, I brought two of my FCCLA students. I had two more, but they were not at school today because of strep. So hopefully they'll be back soon. In order for them to be an FCCLA member, they do have to be in a facts class or have taken a facts class in the past. So for those who are unfamiliar with Family and Consumer Sciences, it is part of Career and Technical Education, also known as CTE. CTE classes emphasize essential life skills with an emphasis on employability, skills, and careers. So when I was hired here at Odessa, I was very excited to take on the position for many reasons, and was asked to help grow the program along with building the FCCLA. I knew that it would take a bit of time for the first year of 2022 and 2023. I took that year really just to observe, and I took in all of the current classes offered at OHS. So a couple of changes were made before the 23-24 school year, and it was renaming a course and beginning to work vertically with Emily Moore, who is the FACS teacher at the middle school. I began quite a list of the things I would like to change or add or delete, and my first task was to rebuild the curriculum for all of my current classes. And although it was time consuming, I feel that the curriculum is where I would like for it to be right now. Obviously, the curriculum is ever changing, and I continue to update each semester as it passes. So year 2, this year, began with the introduction of Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, also known as FCCLA. I introduced it to OHS, and OHS had not had FCCLA. It disappeared sometime before 2017. That's the earliest or the latest, I don't know, however you want to look at it, that I could find. Lots of turnover in the FACS department. So I have continued to work with Emily. I've also added Kim McMahon, the OHS health teacher, to the mix to kind of get us up and going. So FCCLA offers members the opportunity to expand their leadership potential and develop skills for life, such as planning, goal setting, problem solving, decision making, and interpersonal communication, which of course are all necessary within the home and the workplace. FCCLA members explore career opportunities and build their real world skills by developing projects, engaging and participating in events, and competing regionally and nationally for scholarships and awards. So as the FCCLA advisor, I am able to develop stronger student-teacher bonds through helping my students apply their classroom content, what I teach in the classroom, going into their real-life setting. My goal this year was to recruit at least 5 members. That's it. And we are ending the year with 14. I have completed training both at the state and national level on my own time and with my own money so that I could be prepared to help and do what is best for our students. I was able to attend the Missouri FCCLA Fall Leadership Conference to gain additional knowledge of what is expected of students when they attend STAR competition events. STAR competition events are students taking action with recognition. And out of the 14 students, 4 students were ready for competition in January. But due to Mother Nature, we were unable to attend our regional competition. In March, I was able to take 3 students to the State Leadership Conference, where our students, along with 1,600 other students from Missouri, attended workshops and were able to make connections with their peers from other school districts. CTE conducted our first advisory board meeting at the end of March with Ms. Bagshaw, with her help, and my foods and nutrition classes provided the food for this meeting. We spent all of our class time making homemade lasagna. We made salad, we made bread, we made peanut butter and jelly cookies, and we have participated in several events this year and will continue to add more next year. We have even made food for McQuarrie Carnival as well. So with that, I've got a couple of students who are with me. One is Cam and the other is Josie, and Josie has actually been to the lake with me at the conference, and they're also going to talk about the other 2 girls that are not here, what they wanted to say as well. So whichever one wants to go first. Josie? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Josie Schreier. I joined FCCLA to develop leadership skills and to forge friendships that otherwise I would not have. Last fall, FCCLA put together a campaign to provide each OHS teacher with inspirational quotes in form of a door covering. We went to not only inspire students, but teachers also as well. To continue having a growth mindset, at the end of this month, FCCLA will visit OMS to speak with the 8th graders about their opportunities at OHS, in particular, giving them information about FCCLA. We hope to build new friendships with these young people and welcome them to high school.
Am I doing Maddie? Okay. So Maddie Hensley could not be here tonight, and she says that she joined FCCLA to help make a positive impact in the world today through competing. She was one of the ones that was ready to go to competition in January. She wants to compete in regional and state and national levels. And let's see, she wanted to explore career pathways and address significant personal work and societal issues. OHS FCCLA practiced this school year and will be able to attend our first regional competition in January of 2025 in Warrensburg, Missouri.
Good evening. My name is Cameron. They all call me Cam. I'm speaking for Abriana Middleton, and her words are that I have joined FCCLA to help with my college education and costs through the main scholarships it offers and making new friends around Missouri. Last month, Ms. Skelton took 3 of her members to Missouri State Leadership Conference in Lakes of the Ozarks. We were able to make friends from our region, attend workshops, and expand our knowledge of FCCLA, and we're able to listen to various speakers. In October, we will attend the regional conference in Warrensburg, Missouri, in the fall leadership conference at the lake, so we can prepare for our next school year. Let me get to mine. And I joined FCCLA for my own personal growth and leadership development. We have, or are, in the process of a couple of different fundraisers. Last fall, we were able to partner with We Help Too, selling unique socks, and we're able to raise funds for our chapter and also being able to impact OHS students through sock donation for those who are in need. We are in the midst of us sponsoring Kiss a Senior Goodbye through selling personalized candygrams for our seniors. We began this year with $1,000 in our account, and we will end the year with roughly $1,300 in our account. Our expenses have been paid for, and we have learned to use our funds towards our competition trips and purchasing red blazers for those that are competing. We would eventually take our partnership to local businesses and individuals who eventually would like to partner with our community members so they can buy a partnership package that will help FCCLA members with competition costs. And those range from anywhere from $500 to $1,400 per member, and purchase the future red blazers needed.
Thank you, ma'am. So the paper that was passed around is kind of my wish list. This is what I plan to implement. I'm hoping next year, but I'm not sure if it will happen next year. But there are partnership opportunities. Being in one of these CTE, FFA, FCCLA, FBLA, DECA, all of these, it costs a lot of money to actually be in competition. And so that is why I've kind of showed you my my wish list of what I want to do. So next year, we'll bring about competitive events, additional fundraisers, recruiting more members, and bringing additional awareness to those that are still unfamiliar with FCCLA. And the issue that I'm running into is that FCCLA was once known as FHA, Future Homemakers of America. So that's where a lot of people get confused. They also think that FACS is just cooking and sewing, and it's not. It is life skills, and to get the awareness out and let people know that it's more than just, you know, being in the kitchen and sewing. So year 3 is going to be a lot of requests for course additions and deletions for the 25-26 school year. I have contacted the state of Missouri. I have talked with Ms. Bagshaw about implementing an internship program for our upper level FACS classes. Requests for change will hopefully result in the addition of an international foods, a baking, a food science course, and the separation of parenting and child development. All these classes I have taught in the past. I would like the parenting and child development class to be separated. I already take the child development class over to the child development center twice a week, and that is their class. There are so many more plans I have for this program, and it's just going to take time to implement, but I believe we are on the right track. And I encourage you to look over the additional information that I passed out to you and ask me any questions you have.
So do they wear the blazers to every competition, or just?
They will, yep. My girls, when we went in the spring, felt very out of place. And that, for me, that was motivation for them to, I'm gonna work harder.
How many kids went this fall? Did all, you said you had 4?
So last fall, I didn't take any kids because I wanted to go so that I could make sure that I was preparing them for when we went to these conferences. And so when we went in the spring, I took 3.
Okay. That's what I meant, spring.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Awesome. So you anticipate taking some next fall then too, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
These just one day.
No, so they are usually, let's see, last fall I went down on a Saturday and came back on a Tuesday. And then this spring we went down on a Sunday and came back on Tuesday. And I actually paid for it. Like, I didn't have FCCLA pay for it. Yeah.
I commend you.
Yeah.
I think we should realize
That's just how much I care about it.
right, and that's our most successful programs are led by people who start.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Well, thanks. I mean, I say it just because, like, I want you to know, like, that's how much I am invested in it. So, any other questions?
So, for the girls, what is your favorite part about the club?
Just going to the conferences and competing and just seeing like everybody and like just being
Meeting
there.
people.
Yeah.
Mine would definitely have to be the unique people that I have encountered and just the amazing support that comes along with being in the group and the amazing advisor. She is there, rather you're just having a bad day. She's there. Rather it's a problem with the group, she's there. Like it's a great little thing to be involved in.
Yeah.
And a great community that definitely helped my move. Like I'm a first year and this definitely made it a lot easier. Just having a group of people that knew what was going on.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and just to be able to be a part of something that is becoming a big part of my high school career.
Awesome.
I'm very impressed you used the term growth mindset. There's adults who can't talk about a growth mindset. So I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Any other questions?
Ms. Skelton, I want to thank you for your dedication and your work and you reaching out to kids that maybe don't have chances for what you provide. And for
Thank you. Thanks
And
for
I
the.
think back in the day, it was called home ec, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. Oh, you teach home ec. We're like,
Yeah.
little kids. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Next up, we have Making a Difference, a recognition award.
Yes, we would like to recognize for April the Making a Difference Award winner from Upper Elementary Special Education teacher Deanna Swainsgood. Yep, come on up. Some of the things said is constantly provide strong support for all the students at OUE, is caring and compassionate teacher, and is always encouraging and looking for ways that she can help students and staff alike. So we appreciate everything you do and your commitment to the students and the staff of the school and everything that you do to make a difference. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is our superintendent's report.
yeah, I just have a couple things. Building administrative reports are in your packet for your review. We've got end of the year things coming up. Senior awards night is Tuesday, May 7th at the high school in the gymnasium. Graduation is Thursday, May 9th at UCM. And the last day of school is May 23rd. Will be a half day. Additionally, there's several other programs and activities that are happening over the course of the next month for various programs and activities. Legislatively, I've talked to you a little bit about Senate Bill 727. That one has continued to be discussed and debated on the House floor. Actually, I got an email a little bit ago that they were thinking about taking a vote. I don't know whether they did or not, but I know it was very close as to whether it would pass or not. So that one continues to be discussed on the House level. If it passes the House, it would then move on to the governor's desk. That's all I got.
John, in your report, the high school had this bring into action. I don't know if you guys looked over that PowerPoint, but I was just so impressed with all the teachers that put together those activities. And all of the students seemed so engaged. You know, they did like Easter egg hunts and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
that the entire high school participated in that.
They've done several things that have engaged a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelsey. Okay, next up, our discussion items is our technology update.
Yeah, Mr. Slow is here to talk about that.
Back here. So I kind of wanted to highlight in this report, you guys have it in front of you, the table and stuff. Kind of an emphasis on where we stand with students, staff, and faculty devices as of right now. I won't go through that whole table, but just a couple highlights of it. Those first two rows show how long that we have owned these devices, and kind of shows you, 5 years ago, how many devices we needed at that time to currently kind of where we sit, and that we're not happy to replace them, this year or really even next school year. But the plan would be to start replacing them in July of 2025 is just part of our ongoing efforts to keep the technology refreshed as much as possible. The last two rows in that column kind of just show the totals of devices that we have. 5 years ago, we only had 1,300 student Chromebooks to today we have almost 2,600, and that includes spares. The number is bigger than our enrollment, but that goes to show that we basically have a device available to every student. And again, we show that not too many will need to be purchased this coming school year, but as we're going, I'll be working with Dr. O to come up with a long-term replacement cycle. So, because we only, factor probably getting about 5 years of usage out of these Chromebooks, just with all the day-to-day wear and tear that they take. 5 years is kind of the life expectancy of these devices. But That being said, we will purchase a couple hundred new ones to put into the rotation this summer for next school year, and then looking at purchasing a few hundred per year ongoing at that point too, to replace our oldest devices. So just kind of highlighting a little bit more as far as the specifics of what we're looking to be replaced. So 4 years ago, we did purchase new to us. I mean, I emphasize new to us because they were refurbished, which means they came off lease from maybe another business that was using it. So they were already a couple years old when we got them, but they replaced ancient machines that we had, so they were significantly better than what we had at the time. They will get us through all of next school year with the warranty that we have in place with them, but after the 24-25 school year, we'll be looking to get those replaced and upgraded to the newer models and the newer Windows operating system. Staff Chromebooks, we're sitting pretty good there too through the ECF, which is the Emergency Connectivity Fund grant that we received. We were able to purchase 175 Chromebooks a few years ago, and again, kind of with that 5 years of usage in mind, it should get us through the 26-7 school year. So a couple more years before we need to replace any of our staff Chromebook devices. Lab computers, we've seen a pretty drastic reduction in the number of Windows lab computers that we have. They're only here at the high school now. We used to have them in every building, but now that we have Chromebooks, the kind of need for the computer workstations went away. And so with that being said, we only have 60 to 70 student lab computers left, and they will we'll be looking at getting them replaced after next school year as well. I'll be working with Dr. Rowe and Sherry on possible 50-50 grants that will help pay for replacement devices and some of the business labs and such here at the high school. Kind of highlighted the Chrome devices and where we're sitting there, and then the other number I just kind of was putting in there was the number of interactive TVs, like you can see behind you on the wall there, or just regular TVs that we're starting to use too. 5 years ago, we only had 7 interactive TVs, which means we still had a lot of projectors and smart boards and stuff like that. Technology that's kind of aging now and troublesome if we still have them installed out there. So 5 years ago, we only had 7. Currently, we have 77 installed out there. So we're well over halfway getting the whole district replaced. Currently, no plans to mass update any, but we do update quite a few per year. So if we do have a projector or smart board, go down, we typically replace that directly with a new TV of some sort. So it's been good to see that number going up, and hopefully we can keep trending in that direction. Any specific questions?
Logan, so I guess what I'm hearing, we need to start getting on a rotation where we replace so many every year, or we're going to get big on certain years, correct?
Correct,
yeah. And I mean, if I'm reading this right, 24, 25, and 25, 26 are the 2 big years now that we need to start worrying about replacing a lot of these.
Chromebooks, so yeah, I mean, we're factoring 300 or 400 Chromebooks probably per year going forward for student devices. After the next year, to get all of our staff desktop computers, that purchase, in my opinion, would probably have to be made at once, just because we bought 200 or we bought 300 of them at once, and they're all going to expire. Stop updating and be supported at that time. So yeah, we will have some purchases. Staff devices kind of get bought at once, but the Chromebooks will be more of an ongoing deal going forward.
Hey, John, that's something you guys are working
Yeah, we're working on it right now. And, as technology and times change, we've actually talked about, not all staff members might want a desktop, because a lot of times they're using the Chromebook for everything. So, maybe a docking station and hook up to monitors or something. In some instances, might suffice and be less expensive. So, we're definitely looking at what we can do to stay progressive and put in the hand.
I guess, in my opinion, this is something we can sustain if we treat this right and don't get hit with a large amount
As long as we
on certain years, yes, would be better for us.
Is there a reason that we need computer labs at all at the high school?
You said at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still software programs that don't run on Chromebooks, like the Adobe Suite and other coding. There's just other programs that have to have a Windows based computers for graphics and video editing and stuff like that. That just the more economical Chromebook want to be able to run.
Are there any Macs on site that are more user friendly for some of those graphic design programs?
No. In the past, we looked maybe at journalism, that possibly being a place where we can implement those, but currently, no, they're not really dependent on software that would have to run on a Mac specifically. iPads are about the only Apple device that we have.
So the way I understand it is going in all these interactive TVs, we're still replacing projectors and smart boards as they fail.
Correct.
Does that have any issues with like curriculum alignment? Does it
No.
present any issues with certain teachers who are able to do certain things?
No, we met the need. I feel that we met the need of what the teachers are needing. There's still some smart boards out there that the teachers like and they use. That if they're working fine and they want to use them, and we'll move them around a lot of times too as available, or if the teacher moves classrooms and they utilize that for their instruction. A lot of times something like that will get moved with them.
But we've got some teachers that just have a projector and that's it. And until that fails, they don't get a smart board.
Well, now,
First one,
do we have any just for teachers?
I would say the elementaries and stuff, no. You start to see some of the middle school, and probably more at the high school, you will see that more just your standard a projector or a TV type of deal, because they're not interacting and dragging stuff around up at the the screen and stuff. So yes, we still have just projectors here.
But they're hooked into the computer.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whether it's impacting the instruction or not.
I'm glad that you kind of kept up with it. You're really attuned to the numbers and everything, so I appreciate you keeping that ball rolling. So.
Old tech guys like buying new stuff, right?
That's right.
Okay. Technology, any other questions for Logan? Okay, thank you, Logan. Okay, next up, we have bereavement leave.
Yeah, following the discussion from last month, I feel that adding bereavement leave for staff members would be appropriate. This change would allow 3 days in the event of a death of a close family member. The leave could extend to 5 days if long travel was necessary. And this is supported, the language would be added to the employee manual and go into effect starting with the 24-25 school. And there's a breakdown in your packet of family members' relation.
Does anybody have any questions on this?
I just have one comment. I'm glad that we're doing it. I don't know if this was feedback from someone within the district, was given to you or not, but I'm glad that we're open to considering these things. Say, hey, we have a hole here that we need to, fill.
Actually, feedback from our CSIP committee is where it
Oh,
spurred from.
yeah, good
So
stuff.
I think it's a great idea. Okay. No other discussion on that? Okay, next up is our multi-purpose building.
Dr. Fay.
So included in your packet was information from IDS, cost estimate and information for a base plan as well as ultimate plan. So they outlined the details and some drawings just to give you an idea of what that would look like as far as the space utilization. So if the board decides to move forward with this project, the anticipated date to approve bid documents would be the July board meeting, with the anticipated award to a contractor being at the August meeting. So that timeline allows IDS and all the professionals to have everything ready
for that if.
Say those dates again, Roger.
We anticipate having the bid documents ready at the July meeting and then be able to put those out immediately following that meeting and then award to a contractor in August. Happy to try to answer any questions.
Yeah. With that alternate plan, when they say split floor, they talk about wood.
No.
Okay.
And then the non-alternate plan would be concrete.
Oh, okay.
The base would just be,
So the split floor is what?
be looking at,
Like a coating with design or something?
yeah, maybe something similar to upper,
Okay.
perhaps.
Yeah, when I say
That type of,
Sports floor type of material.
Yeah, but it would have
Is it composite?
courts, different courts for the different activities and all that, yeah.
lines and such, yeah, we'd be able to lay out.
So as a recommendation for, I mean, are we talking like are we talking about the numbers right now or just moving forward?
Those are all guesstimates.
Yes.
I know they're all
Yeah.
guesstimates, but I mean, are we just talking?
You're just
like,
discussing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Any discussion?
I mean, to me, I mean, at this point, just to get into it, I mean, bleachers and the brick lanes, wainscoting, I mean, I don't know if that necessarily is needed at this point. I definitely like the renovations, connecting it to the existing building. I think that's definitely a must.
I agree.
But, and I think it, obviously should be set up with sports equipment, goals, nets, padding, and stuff like that. Just because that's the whole purpose of the building, is to offer as much.
I think we'd be silly not to put the bleachers and stuff in now, though.
Well, see what I was thinking. I mean, if you go to any soccer park, they have movable bleachers. You can add bleachers, you can move around, you can take them out if you need to make extra room for baseball to go in there and practice, whatever. To me, I think for the purpose of it, it should be the most maximized space that we can allow for any sport. And so I think having built-in bleachers is going to take up a lot of space that could be used for wrestling or whatever, volleyball, whoever needs it. Band practice, yeah, soccer,
Are these
whatever.
built in?
Huh?
Are these built in, Roger?
The way they've got it drawn,
They look like they are. But I was thinking like removable, just aluminum bleachers, If you've ever been to the sports lodge in Independence, they have just 3 level bleachers that you can shift around, move, take out if you want, or,
Oh, I think I know something.
No, I'm talking about. yeah. To me, that would make more sense. But anyways, but that, like I said, it's an additional cost that, I mean, do we really need that?
As part of the bid spec, those alternates would be alternates to the bid, so you would be able to see the
They can
value
choose.
of those things.
Right, yeah.
Much like we did with the safety and security project, there were line item things that were alternates. Say, yeah, we want to include alternates, as the floor or bleachers or whatever.
Right.
Be able to, here's what your base product would be, and here's the value of the other things.
The shopping list that you.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, being that it's a multi-purpose building, I mean, I think having it, in a setting where we can maximize the space for any sport that needs it, and not just be a basketball court or a volleyball court.
Extracurricular.
Yeah.
If they wanted to have this, they want to have a competition there or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as multifunctional as possible.
So where are the extra funds gonna come from for this?
Well,
That's what we pay for.
I can tell you that there's a couple different options to get the funding to support this into Fund 4. Last year we did a Fund 4 transfer. We could do that again this year. Last year that was $841,000. That number is going to be very similar this year. We won't know that number till the end of the year. We'll have, Kat and I looked at it, somewhere around 1.6 million available in Fund 4 at the end of this fiscal year. 6 to 1.7 is our best guesstimate. Who knows what could come up between now and then. Had to replace something, but so we would have that money that's there, we can move the fund for transfer money. There's also you're allowed to transfer a portion of your classroom trust fund into any fund. It's a calculation that the state has based on the 2009-2010 school year. When we calculated that up, it was a little over $600,000 that we could funnel the classroom trust money into Fund 4 to help pay for this project. Right now, that money's going into, we're reseeding all of our state money into the teachers fund. But we could use, reserves at the end of the year. You're always transferring money from your reserves to put the teachers fund back to zero because state money doesn't completely pay for your salaries for the whole year. So it would just affect that transfer amount. You'd be using more of your fund balance to put this project down.
And some of those alternate plans are also things that could be done afterwards. I mean, the bleachers, the sports equipment, like I said, I mean, that's stuff that could be, even the sports one, I think the biggest part of that probably needs to be done is the renovation, the connection, the hallways. That's something that we're not going to go back and do.
Right.
Later.
Yeah. So, which that is the biggest chunk of that alternate plan. But if that's all we do and hold off on.
It would be designed that any of those alternates could be done at a later date, but yes, it's not going to get.
That's something
it's not going to cost less.
Right. Yeah.
For any.
Any other questions? Okay. Next up is our board communication etiquette.
Yeah, this request came to be added to the board agenda.
Kelsey, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so obviously I'm still new here. I'm still trying to figure things out. So I just wanted to level set on what the standard protocol is for email communication among board members. So if I reach out to John with a concern, who needs to be included on that email? Does Brian need to be included? Do we all need to be included? I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row on that.
As standard practice for myself, I always include leadership on any of my communications to email communications to board members. So just so they're aware.
How do I would say it's our right as a board member, if you want everybody, it's your right to email any of the board members if you have questions or want them to know about it. Any of us. I wouldn't know why I couldn't, other than if we start communication, if there's four of us have communication, then you're really creating a meeting.
Well, a meeting is created when there is responses that include 4 or more.
In that case, we'd have to attach Janet to that email so that
And that's
she.
the other thing that I had a question
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
And it's not a posted meeting though, so
that's true.
you're
Yeah.
in violation.
Okay.
Yeah, because,
So you're saying there should never be an instance where if I have an issue that I should email all the board members and include everyone that's like said here right now?
I'm saying that would,
Constitute a meeting.
once there was a response back,
Oh, if someone responded
if
back.
there's a response back,
Mhm.
then you constituted a meeting.
Oh, okay. So as long as it's just like, hey,
There was one way.
Sharing
it's like an informational.
I think that's why we do, like, we copy leadership and Brian, the president. That way if it needs to get to that point, then we can make that determination and this is the board decision. We all act as one, right? So that's why he always likes to copy, right? That's why you like to see somebody other than one person, because we all act
Right.
as one.
and then it would be Brian's or whoever's CC, whether it's whoever it is, if it's him or Cole or Brian, and they would, inform. If it was pertinent information, they would inform us.
Ultimately, if there's discussion that needs to happen, you can reach out to the board president and he can get it on the meeting for us to discuss. And that's really, if there's a issue for the board to have discussion on an item, that's how we ought to do it. Is reach out and then I make sure that it's on the agenda for us to discuss.
So there shouldn't be a case necessarily where the four of us and John are on an email together corresponding, because then we form a quorum. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Personally, usually if I have somebody that comes to me with a problem, I either go to Brian or I go to John.
Right.
Talk to them, and then through talking to them, it's a okay, yeah, this is something we probably ought to discuss or let everybody know, and that's when it becomes a board concern. But a lot of times you work it out. Just
Here's some says we'll share information. Here's an update on X. That's perfectly fine. It's like Dr. O said. When it's communication is bounced back and forth, you need to bring it to this agenda for transparency purposes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't violating any policy or sunshine laws or anything like that. Like I said, I'm still new here. It's the first time I've served in this capacity. So
I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't know either. Like I have no clue. So
And it's always good for every one of us, if we have questions or been hit up, to call John and discuss your issues or whatever you have, or try to get answers. A lot of times you all can answer the questions, and the people that came to us, we can actually meet with and talk to, and maybe we can handle it. Let it, so, or at least get them to the right people to talk to.
I think that's where Kelsey's motivation comes from.
Yeah,
She just wants
yeah,
to
I agree. I don't.
be helpful and be an advocate if someone has an issue or.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. All right, next up is our action items.
Yeah, we got,
Banking depository service.
Chad, if you wanna come and share about that. Thank you.
In your board packet, you'll find the recommendation for banking depository services for the Odessa School District. The district went out for bids in February. We received bids back from two banks, Bank of Odessa and Central Bank. In your board packet is the bank RFP scoring rubric for your review between the two banks that was submitted for the bank RFP. Based on our review and scoring of the bids, we would like to request that the board approve to continue to use the Bank of Odessa as the district's banking depository servicer.
I think.
Yeah, Coley, yeah, I need to abstain from this Coley.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
second.
Favor?
I'm abstaining. Okay, thank you, Ken. Next up, we have our child care center rates.
Yeah, following the discussion again last month on proposing an increase in the tuition rates incrementally over the next few years to offset the increased operation costs and staffing that we've seen. Currently, weekly rates are $135 for children under 2 and $110 for children over 2. And proposing for 24-25 that for under 2 goes to $152.50, over 2 to $125. For 25-26, that number would go for under 2 to $167.50, and over 2 to $140. And then finally for 26-27, for under 2, $180, over 2, $150. We project that this would bring us back to a point where it's basically there's no revenue, minimal revenue generated or lost.
Okay, any questions?
those increases in rates, are there talks of the time of services extended? I know that was something that was kind of.
At this point, we have not. Doesn't mean that it couldn't become part of the discussion.
Does anybody else have any other questions for the child care? Let me ask you this. So we're making a recommendation for next year, the year after, the year after. Why don't we just do next year? And then come back and revisit it again?
We can, absolutely.
At that time. I mean, I'm just bringing it up to everybody, whatever you all think. But
John, there's no revenue attached to this, is there? I mean,
No,
no, I
as
think
far as overall for the year.
outside of the
Oh,
district.
outside?
Yeah.
Just what they're paying.
Okay.
Kelsey, what did you say the average you were paying?
My son's over 2 and I pay $205 a week.
205.
So even in 2 years, that's pending these other places that don't have increases. Is that in Odessa or is that?
It's in Odessa.
So, you know, Oak Grove is probably even that much more, you know, I don't know.
Right.
Not that we should be the same prices.
I
I'm just
agree.
saying that I
Well,
think even in 2 years, we're probably gonna be,
Well under.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
at least 15 to
Yeah.
20% cheaper.
we're well under 3 years. Yeah, I just brought that up.
And we're not doing it to compete with anybody. We're just trying to help cover our costs.
Oh, yeah, no, we were, I think everyone here agrees that if we were 10% of what they charge somewhere else, like, we were breaking even.
Yeah.
We're barely losing money.
The purpose is just to break even. Or try.
That's kind of crazy. 15 years ago, we were, this would be 5% of year one teacher salaries.
Yeah.
That's a quarter. I mean, wow. Sorry, you all didn't need to see me be surprised by how expensive children are.
They just get more expensive.
Okay, so I need a motion at this time to approve the following child care center rates increases.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, next up, we have the child care and SOAR handbook.
Yeah, and I've asked Mr. Armstrong to be here to answer any questions you might have about the proposed changes. If you want to come up, Mr. Armstrong.
Come on down.
Standing up back here, I don't know that there's a ton of proposed changes except for the rates that are on there.
Adam, did you have something?
Yeah, I had mentioned one thing, in the packet that we got, I'm going through my notes here, sorry. On page 26 and 48 in reference to, like the staff for, you know, each individual,
Parent, child care or this one.
this would be both. Yeah, I don't know if you have the same packet I have or not, but it's 26 and 48. You guys had referenced in there about Facebook and commenting or like sharing photos of kids that go to the facility. And it just said Facebook. I just thought it might be maybe social media might be a better option. But I'm not a lawyer either, so I don't say I should be right.
That's probably a good.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else?
I would assume now our cost with Daniel, the tuition and fees are obviously going to change.
That's why those were highlighted.
So the approval will be pending the social media, the change of that, and the rates.
The rates being.
I didn't think of that.
Well, that's okay.
Good
So, okay.
Okay. At this point, I need a motion to accept the handbook with the 2 changes.
Move.
All in favor? Thank you.
Let's adjourn
Okay.
first.
At this time, I need a motion for the meeting signed out to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
And I'd like to recognize Ms. Jessica Porter at this point for her term of service for the last 3 years and what she's brought to the board and to the district. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything you've done and wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get out of here, right?
Yep.
They're at least gonna let you take your plaque, you can put it on your desk at home.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I don't think I'm not going fast enough.
We're jotting you down for public comment.
What do you mean by that?
See you.
Jess, what do you mean by that?
Take for whatever. All right, guys.
Thanks, Jess.
See you,
Bye,
Jess.
Jess.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay.
Okay.
Jan, if you want to go ahead and
Absolutely. Cool.
If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school district
discharge the duties of the school district
and for the Odessa R-VII School District,
and the Odessa R-VII School District,
County of Lafayette, State of Missouri,
County of Lafayette, State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Can I get your signature, Paul?
Yep.
all right. At this point in time, I would open the floor and accept nominations for board president.
I would like to make a motion for Cole Shippey as president.
I second that. Any other nominations? At this point, I would take a vote for Cole Shippey. All those in favor? Any opposed? One abstention. Congratulations.
Thanks for the confidence. I guess now I need to take a motion for vice president.
Make a motion, Brian Youngster as vice president.
I'll second that.
Brad Chan. Further?
All in favor? I need a motion to return to executive session pursuant to statute 610.021 RSMO
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Say
Say aye. Aye.
And